begins with a woman waking up in a bathtub, the home video Super 8 camera style mixed with the gritty aesthetic. She runs off into the woods and is attacked by someone clearly very upset and stabs her in the mouth. The movie begins for real this time, with another bloodied woman waking up scared and confused, and I'm beginning to sense a theme here. She runs away and falls over a few times before getting in a truck to hide, to be confronted by the absolutely horrific sight of someone in a bunny suit. After conveniently climbing into the back of another truck, the movie opens for real this time. We're then introduced to a group of friends in a car as they drive up behind the very same truck that we've just seen, overtake it, for it to then immediately overtake them and try to force them into oncoming traffic. Despite their best efforts to get away from the truck, it once again positions itself behind the car, accompanied by some kind of demon roar. Eventually they decide to pull over. Eventually the truck does allow them to go, but it's apparently just messing around with them, as it somehow appears in front, causing them to swerve off the road and into the dirt, as they all decide to just sit around doing nothing as the BunnyMan drives away. Take the woman from the back of his truck, tie one end of her to a tree and the other end of her to his truck, and tearing her apart, while one of the friends, Jack, is under the car attempting to get it started again. The truck, that apparently nobody heard coming, that growls like a demon mind you, rams into the back of them and drives away. But the funny thing is, it takes a good minute for everyone to realize that Jack was under the car, and when they do discover the grisly sight of one of their friends pancaked beneath the weight of a car, they have the completely normal human reaction to just walk away. They all decide to walk down a side road lined with dozens of upside-down crosses. They come across bags of human bones dangling from the trees. Get to the home of Mr. Upside-Down Cross Tree Bone Man, and unsurprisingly, he mocks their dead friend and threatens to shoot them after they ask to use his phone. We're then introduced to two people on the side of the road, clearly up to no good, as they've just loaded a body into their car, as you do, and they notice the group of friends walking directly towards them, so the woman, who definitely isn't a bad guy, gets out of the car to confront them and tells them to wait at a nearby abandoned cabin for 20 minutes, so she can come back and give them all a ride after taking her friend to the emergency room. Immediately followed by both the group not going to the cabin and the woman not picking them up. The next day rolls around and they actually decide to head where they were told to meet. And two of the friends, Jen and Mike, come across the BunnyMan in the middle of the woods, really understanding the mind of his friend. In response to his little mind-to-mind session interruption, he grabs Jen as Mike sprints away, like the good friend that he is, and the BunnyMan proceeds to brutally cut her up with the chainsaw. The group take off running towards the cabin, and being pursued by the BunnyMan, they manage to take the chainsaw from him using the ultimate self-defense tool, a mattress. They find someone chained up in the cabin with them, and as Tiffany gets knocked unconscious, they all just kind of run away from the lone unarmed dude in a bunny costume who they took the chainsaw from. Mike runs away to a nearby shed and finds a bloody dead guy on the floor who he very quickly accompanies, as the BunnyMan follows him in, wielding the chainsaw that Mike took from him. What? And as you can hear the sound of Mike gurgling on his own blood, you can hear the screams of Tiffany as she's being violated by the chained man. She manages to break free and makes the incredibly smart decision to climb up a tree instead of just carrying on running away, as she's slowly being pursued by the BunnyMan with the chainsaw in hand. You know, chainsaws, the things used for cutting down trees. After being knocked unconscious as the tree falls, she begins to come to in the cabin, surrounded by the BunnyMan and his half-pet slave, as they have her restrained with a video camera recording her. He covers her mouth with tape before turning his attention to the nail gun that he uses to repeatedly puncture her stomach with, and then pulls a tooth from her mouth using a set of pliers. Once he's done performing his non-consensual dental work, he picks up the chainsaw, cuts off a limb, and the scene just kind of ends. With everyone else dead, the only two that are left alive are Rachel and this guy. Rachel and Guy watch as BunnyMan and his pet leave, so their plan is to run in and find Tiffany. And when they run in, they do find Tiffany, all 15 pieces of her, followed by Rachel looking out of the window to see BunnyMan cooking up a nice piece of well-done Tiffany steak, and we see that he's accompanied by the very same woman who offered them a ride the previous night. They hide in the house with the intention of stealing the woman's keys, and when they all come back in to eat, not only has someone clearly neglected to teach BunnyMan the basics of how to use cutlery, but he clearly doesn't want to take his mask off to eat. Eventually, he is persuaded by the woman to take the mask off so badly, he almost looks as cooked as Tiffany. Rachel makes a sprint for the keys, and Guy heroically sacrifices himself in order to give Rachel the opportunity to flee and save herself. She wakes up restrained to a wheelchair, as Guy slowly begins to free himself from his restraints using a pocket knife that he somehow has that I guess the family just didn't find, and the woman begins to torment Rachel, with the woman being incredibly jealous as she believes Rachel is better looking than her. so as she's threatening Rachel with a knife, Guy jumps up, knocks her to the ground, and grabs the chainsaw. This time Rachel actually does run off to the car, and once she's gone, Guy runs the chainsaw through the woman, and after running out of the house too, the next day rolls around, and not only has this movie not ended yet, but the pair find themselves in the exact same unfortunate predicament that they were in back in the beginning of the movie. The truck is right behind them, but this time, Guy's got a plan. He offers Rachel to the Bunnyman as she plays dead, and as he lifts her into his truck, she pulls out a pair of scissors and begins violently cutting into his neck with them, as if he's one really evil piece of paper. She kicks him out of the truck, and the pair take it, with the movie then coming to an end, with a very much still alive Bunnyman walking off into the sunset. He sure does appreciate a good view.